Even though medical marijuana is legal in 36 states and the District of Columbia, patients say their doctors don't know that much about it.
It really was out of desperation that I tried it.
Sherry Berman is a two-time cancer survivor. In 1998, she says she tried cannabis as a last-ditch attempt to treat side effects from her chemo.
Within minutes, I felt better, my nausea went away, and it stimulated my appetite so I could eat.
Not an uncommon effect for cannabis users, but the federal government still classifies it as Schedule I with, quote, no currently accepted medical use. In 2018, 6 years after medical marijuana became legal in her home state of Massachusetts, Sherry decided to get a medical card to help her manage the chronic pain from past treatment. But she said what she found was unsettling. Doctors she spoke with had seemingly little or no knowledge of the drug.
One of my questions was, does cannabis interact with my statin, which I was on for high cholesterol? And he said to me, I have no idea. I don't know anything about drug interactions. It shouldn't be a problem.
She's not alone. Studies show there's a gap between what patients want to know about using cannabis and the information their doctors can actually provide them. A 2017 study found only 9% of medical schools had any curriculum on medical cannabis.
And so the physicians are at a loss. They don't want to lead their patients astray.
Dr. Ziva Cooper is the director of the UCLA Cannabis Research Initiative.
The physician's hesitancy, it's justified.
One way states and dispensaries are seeking to close the information gap, requiring a licensed pharmacist, like Gauguin Pour Sforza, to be on site to help customers.
So my first question is usually what brings you here. The second question is typically what's your experience, because I need to know if you think you know what you're doing or if you do actually know what you're doing. And then the third, which is where really my qualifications come into track, are really just your medications.
Pour Sforza says unlike conventional medicine, plant-based medicines such as cannabis impact individuals differently, meaning there aren't standard dosing recommendations.
The question mark is always there. Could it help? Maybe it could help. We've seen one person, who's had some benefit and then one person who hasn't.
Those we spoke with agreed that removing obstacles to cannabis research would generate more data for medical providers to consider.
Truth is that the science at this point in time is kind of even guided by the industry.
The Food and Drug Administration has not approved a, quote, marketing application for the treatment of any disease or condition. And with the exception of one product, no cannabis, cannabis-derived, or CBD products currently available on the market have been FDA approved. And that's a challenge for researchers.
Even though, I'm in Los Angeles and there are dispensaries all over the place that are offering these products, those products aren't necessarily meeting the standards that are required to do a human study, a clinical study.
But a provision included in House Democrats' infrastructure bill last month would allow some products already on shelves in dispensaries to be used for research in federally funded labs. It's specifically for driving impairment, but the language is broad enough that it might impact other studies. Dr. Cooper told us that while this move signals a shift in perspective on cannabis research, it's unlikely to be a game changer for clinical trial research.
None of these products in dispensaries, as of yet, have been studied rigorously.
In May, the DEA announced it would issue licenses to a number of marijuana growing facilities to supply cannabis for research. Since 1968, the University of Mississippi has been the only source of cannabis for U.S. medical researchers. For Sherry Berman, a lack of information forced her to find answers without the help of her doctor. Now she's getting her master's in cannabis and science therapeutics and launched a consultation practice to give others the help she didn't receive.
In an ideal world, I do believe that my personal doctor should have knowledge about cannabis medicine. So to have my primary care physician or other physicians removed from that process doesn't seem like that's in my best interest as a patient.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.